Okay, relatively advanced Angel instructor technique today. Let's say that in my class I want my students to accomplish a minimum of 2 activities or things that they need to do. And there may be 5 or 6 or more that they can choose from, but at a minimum they need to have done 2 of those activities. So at a certain date in the future they'll either get an email from me that says, good job, you've accomplished what you needed to accomplish, or another email that says you didn't do what you were supposed to do and here's what you need to do to succeed. So if I want to do this, set this up in Angel, there's a few key concepts I need to look at. So let's take a look at those.
Alright, in this demonstration we're going to be using environment variables, agents, and actions. And if you're not familiar with these tools in Angel, you might want to stop the video now and go and review them. But just in short, environment variables are a way to store information. They're sort of like, imagine them like buckets that you can put values or data in. Agents and actions are both forms of automation in Angel that we're going to cover in more detail here in a few. Okay, so now let's set it up in Angel. I have a class. In the class, on the Lessons tab, I have a folder called Week 1, and in that I have 4 different things that people can do. They can post an introduction discussion forum, they can watch a video and then drop off their reaction to that video in a Dropbox. There's an assessment and a survey. Alright, in the class I have on the roster, I have somebody named Jim College. Alright, and I can see the teams that Jim's in there right now. He's on Team 1, he's in Students, but he's not on Team Zebra. I can double check that by going to the teams, and I can see that there are no members of the Zebra team. Okay, now I mentioned environment variables. I'm going to go to the class environment variables on the Manage tab, and I have various variables here for the entire class. I'm also going to go to Jim College and look at variables specifically for him. So I can see that there have been no variables set for Jim. So that's where we're starting from. Okay, in the next step I'm going to be setting the actions and the agents. I'll be flipping back and forth between agents and actions. In the first step I'm going to start on the Automate tab and take a look at an agent which I've already created called Update Variable. I can edit that, and I can see that it's a content agent. It will affect all users in the class, and what it will do is it will add a value of 1 to a variable called accomplished. Alright, so I can read at the bottom the summary that will tell me that this agent will run for all users, and then it has 4 different content items. Whenever any of those 4 content items is submitted, the 1 will be added to the accomplished variable. I can also look into specific parts of the settings for this. Like if I click on the agent type, I can see that it's a content agent, and then I can see the 4 content items here that it's tied to, and what the action is that has to happen before the automation will fire off. If I wanted to, I could delete one of these content items, or I could click on Select Content to monitor, choose my content type, and then say I want to have a specific content type or all of that type. Either one. But in this case I've already got the 4 that I want. So I'm going to click out of there without changing that one at all. Okay, now that I've set agents that are going to increment or add to that variable value every time somebody interacts with that lesson content by submitting, I need to go to the actual lesson content and set actions that will check the value of the variable and then add somebody to a team if their variable value is above a certain level. So if I go to the Automate tab, I can see associated agents. I see the agent that we already created here, and I also see actions. There aren't currently any actions. So I'm going to click the Action Editor, and I'm going to make a new action. And the action that this thing will do will be to team enroll, and the team name is Zebra. Okay, so it's going to happen when there's a submission. Now here's where I can put the name of the variable, the environment variable here, and I'm just going to put accomplished is greater than 1. Right, now note I didn't put the $signs in. You know, the name of environment variables typically will begin and end with $signs, and I didn't put them in here. So I'll hit save, and I'll have to hit save again. And now I have on submission the environment variable accomplished. If it's greater than 1, then enroll the person in Team Zebra. Nice thing about this is I can just copy this now and I can paste it into the action settings for the other 3 content items. Okay, and then the last thing to do is to set up the 2 agents that are going to send email to the gazelles and to the zebras. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go make a new agent. I'll make this one a scheduled agent. I want it to run at a certain date, say this coming Friday at 4:30 in the afternoon. And at 4:30, right, okay. You mind, we'll call this one for the gazelles. Alright, so the thing, I want this to happen for people on a specific team, gazelles, or gazelle, and the thing that I want to have happen is I want a mail to be sent. Now, no, it's not an email. I want to send an internal mail from me to the filtered users. And I would tell them, no, you didn't do what you're supposed to do. And then I'm probably going to send a copy to each recipient's internet mail. The reason I did that instead of send email is the send email will send to one specific email address. This will send to each individual user and then also forward to their internet email addresses if those are set up correctly. Okay, so that's all there is to it. And then I need one for the zebras as well. So I'll save my gazelles. And I'm going to make a copy of the gazelles one. And we'll make this one the remind zebras, or maybe notify zebras. And it's also a scheduled agent. It's going to run at the same time, 4:30. We're going to change the specific team that it goes to from gazelle to zebra. And it's still going to be a mail, an internal mail, to all filtered users. And I'm going to change the text of it. Okay, and obviously if it was real I'd make a different, better text there. And hit save, or next, and save. Alright, so for all of this to work, I have to have a team gazelle as well. I've got my zebras, and then I need to have gazelle. So I'm going to have add a team, call this one gazelle, and I'm going to add both Jim and Joe College to that. And I'll hit done. Alright, to save a little bit of time, I'll tell you that I logged in as Jim and I had him do 3 of the activities in the week 1 folder. So now if I go to the environment variables, I should see a custom variable for Jim with a value of 3 for accomplished, which I do. Okay. So then if I go back on the Manage tab to Teams, I should see that there is now only 1 member in gazelles and that there is now a member of zebras, which there is. And the last thing to do is to check the email notification. So I know I set this thing to go Friday at 4:30, but I can go to the Automate tab now and I can say notify the zebras. Alright, if I go and I run that one now, we'll see if it will pick Joe up. Okay, so I can see that notify zebras, it was last run at the current time. Now if I flip over to Joe's email, there it is. So his personal email account has an email that goes to the Team Zebra. So it worked. He got taken off Team Donkey. He didn't. Well, let's run the donkey one just to be safe, or the gazelles one. I mean, I get my animals mixed up. Okay, so I just ran that, and I can see that the time that it ran was right now. And if I go to his email, no new email. So everything worked the way it should.